This
and
conference will now be recorded.
I'm not sure that he'll be able to make this one here after the new year, but I think we can make our way and maybe an update from Scott on where you and Rob Coyle got in terms of your specification work. So in the previous meeting, just to review that, Scott had made some very good updates on some of the sections, transportation, site prep, structure specification. Um, Rob Coyle from PCX also had some very good input and updates utilizing uh, their internal specifications that they use whenever developing and implementing modular data centers. And so some very good comments there. Um, from my perspective, it looked as though uh, the work was doing well. It was going forward, and so I'd like to understand now where we are um, in terms of that specification.
Sure,
Scott,
this is Scott. So I can give you. I don't think I've got a whole lot because I think in the last meeting I actually had to leave about a half hour early. So we worked through the details, and I haven't made any updates since then. So I need to go back through and make a lot of the updates back to the 90K that we were making to the 300 kilowatt that we were working on live there. So I think we started some of that, but I don't think we completed that work in terms of updating that. So I still need to go back through. I have not completed that yet, but I should be able to work on that this week. I think for the most part, once we add those changes, though, I don't know there's a whole lot more to update from that point. I think we should be pretty close to completion, I believe.
Yeah. And did, Scott, I've been out of it too. Did, we talked a lot about, genericizing it. Were you able to?
Yeah, so that was a lot of what we did on the last call was
Okay.
kind of go through the spec with Rob Coyle and agreed to a lot of things in terms of genericizing it. So I believe we made some progress on that. It's just a matter of now going back through and updating per his comments. And I don't know what was completed after I left the call, but I assume we just kind of went, going down that same path.
Cool.
Yeah, we continue to work through the additional works, the additional items.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I'll bring them up here and we'll go ahead and review through those. Because I also had to leave. Let me open up. As far as the 90 kW, you've still been working in the version 1.0.
I believe that was the last changes I made. Although I'm just now trying to open up the folder to look in it just to make sure.
Yeah, right now I see that the last revisions to it were myself on December 18th. Which makes sense if nobody touched it since the working session.
So just refresh me, the document that we were going through, I believe it was the 300K document that we were making most of the changes to. Is that correct during that last call?
Yeah, I believe so. And that was on Rob's. This was on Rob Coyle's input. Yeah, we were making a significant number of the changes on that in particular.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, last modified 300K. All right, yeah. So I'm sorry, just there's trouble getting to the folder. So
Yeah, for sure. We need to do some organization around that as well. I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah, so I just need to go through and just reconcile the two.
Okay, so let's. I don't know. I don't think we have very much to necessarily review since December 18th, since the working session. So, so let's talk about action items then. So Scott, you were going to um, work on the 90 kW version.
Mhm. Yeah, and just update with the changes that we made from the 18th to that document. And then I guess any kind of last minute suggestions as well.
Okay. In terms of this, I feel as though we do have very specific things um, that need to be updated in both of them. Probably this on-site deployment operations maintenance, but this is looking very, very, very complete. Um, from the perspective of content, sections, completion. I feel as though if you were to then match up your 90 kW to support it as well, or to match it from the general specification standpoint, would be in a lot better place. So, am I able to set the expectation that you can bring the 90 kW version up to match the 300 kW version by next week?
I think that's fair. Yeah. Let's see, I have meetings next week. Yeah, I'm good for meeting next week as well, as far as no conflicts or anything. So that should be good.
Good. January. Okay. Now remember, everybody, if you're writing any checks, you have to put 2019.
That's right.
Yeah.
Checks.
writes
What are
checks
those?
anymore?
What are those things? What are you talking about?
Those were the days.
Yeah,
Those
I was
were the
just talking with one of the coworkers. His sons that are like 16 and 19 don't even know what a check is.
My daughter doesn't either. She's 17. She's like, Mom, why can't you just PayPal or Venmo them?
I'm 25 years old, everyone, and my wife has to write our checks because I've never done it.
Well, I was thinking that there's got to be situations where it's got to be, just completely disappearing, right? But I just had my garage repaired this week. My garage door broke, and the guy, repairman, that came over, and the only way to pay him was per a check, right? So, he's there, he's got to accept some sort of payment. So it's interesting that it's still required, but I don't know for how much longer.
It's required by a lot of schools because they still haven't updated their payment system. I mean, a lot of it is online and via credit card, but if you're making like, I don't know, materials donations to a class for coding or whatever, they ask you for a check.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, but most of my stuff, you're right, goes to the school. Think about that. Yeah.
It's such an antiquated system. They haven't quite come up to the 21st century.
Yeah, well, from a government law perspective, there's not a lot of, most of the laws are still around check fraud and not some of the other ones. So, if you're really weary about that, if you write a check and you send it in the mail, you're covered by a lot more laws from a government perspective than you are, say, a bill pay or Venmo or anything like that. So that was one of my previous mentors' conspiracy theory advice was send them a check in the mail. You're totally covered.
Totally. I've heard the same thing, Brevin, that if you send a check, the bank is more likely to protect your transaction than if you were to do it on, through an online app. If you did it through a credit card, different story, because the credit card then also company is responsible.
Yeah, I think that they've changed that, or they've brought that up to speed as well, but not sure where it comes from a law perspective. That's from a bank doing their due diligence for their customer. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't want to keep everybody too long. It seems like we have some updates, but I think that next time, January 9th, we're going to have a lot more people be able to join, and also we're nearing the end of this. We do have a incubation committee on the 10th, but Rob, you tell me, do you think that we're in any position to be able to take this to the incubation committee, or are we going to need to do that in February?
It's going to be close. I think, February still gives us time, right, to have it kind of approved, I think. So I'd rather have it tidied up and for February, I think.
Yep. Okay. I'd rather look for February. Also looking forward to the summit. The presentations that we're doing is the standardizing of a modular data center specification, and that does extend here directly off of this. It's not the product specification that the two companies are going to go ahead and deploy after that. So as long as we work and get it ready for February, then I think that we're on the right schedule leading up to the summit. So if there's nothing else.
I actually had a quick question on that specification. Yep. So that's going to be a Snyder contribution, is that correct?
One will be a Schneider and one will be a
Right.
Swedish. Go ahead.
Yeah, Swedish modules. Yep. Yep. There'll be two.
So there'll be two. So one will be a Schneider one and the other one from Swedish modules. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
And I just had a quick question about the summit, the presentation. I don't know if we want to cover that here. Do we know what day we will be presenting on?
Yeah, so it'll be Friday.
Friday.
It'll be
Okay.
day 2 of the summit. Yeah.
And what time?
I'm not really sure right now. I know that we are working on the final schedule.
Okay.
But I think you can look it up. In fact, I think Brevin's pulling it up.
Yeah, I think this is in the morning. I think.
Okay. And the only reason why I asked is I scheduled a vacation. I scheduled a vacation in to fly to Phoenix on the same day, and I didn't realize that I had overlapped that. So I got to change those. So I'm just trying to. I've got my family flying into Phoenix on the 15th, and I'm not going to be there.
Gotcha.
Well, you could be there in the You could be there in the afternoon.
Yeah, and that's going to work out fine. They don't get there until 3. Well, at least that was our tickets. I'm just trying to manage when that might be.
Yeah.
Okay. For sure, and let us know what you can do with that. I don't think that these are 100% set in stone. We do have the ability to manipulate, so we want to make sure that you can be there. So just let us know what you can do. But right now, it's currently scheduled at the 1 p.m. time slot on Friday the 15th.
Okay. Yeah, and that could work. If we can move it up earlier, great. But if not, that's I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, I see that this is also a 1-hour session, this panel discussion. So that 9 a.m. So that would be our most likely swap.
Okay.
There you go.
Rob, do you think we should just go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I mean, I from a flow of the presentation, yeah, I think that'd be fine, And then, and then you can get a flight out in the afternoon and get there when your family's about getting there or close.
Yeah, no, that'd work. That'd work.
Yeah. Cool.
Brevin, are you going to do that, or do you need me to do that for SCAD? Switch it around.
Sure, I can. You can do that.
Okay, so I'll take care of it.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. That's real helpful.
Okay, we'll do that today.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. We will be in contact
next week, and I plan to have the 90K all updated by then.
Yep. And if you have anything schedule-wise or anything while you're working through that 90KW, please send it out to the MDF list on groups.io, and we'll try to get the discussion that we need. But yeah, let's look for a good solid review of the specifications next Wednesday.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
Great. Thank you.
All right, talk later.
Thanks, everybody.